Hello students, today we are going to talk about force. So, what is force? You might say that force is a push or pull upon an object, right? Well, it cannot be stated as incorrect, but it hardly explains anything about the concept of force. You might imagine a stationary object on the ground and someone pushing it or pulling it. Yes, when force is applied, the stationary object will move, but this does not explain the concept of force entirely. So, let's clear a few things about it. This cart is lying at rest on the ground. It's stationary, not moving at all. Is there any force acting on the cart when it is stationary? Well, the answer is yes. There are forces acting on this cart. There is a gravitational force, which is trying to pull the cart towards the center of the earth. And the ground is applying an equal force, exactly in the opposite direction, called the normal force. Because these two forces are balanced, they do not change the position of an object. The net force acting on the cart is zero. So, just pushing or pulling is not the only kind of force. And just because there are forces acting on an object will not mean the object will move. For the object to move, there has to be some net force. So now let's say a person pushes the cart, and the position of the cart changes. Why did the position change? It's because there was another magnitude of force acting on it, and this time, the forces were not balanced. The cart moved, and there was displacement. But hold on, why did the cart stop moving after covering 10 meters? The cart started moving at a pace, and then slowly came to a halt. If there is no force from the other side to stop it, how did it stop? Well, it was friction that stopped the cart. While the force you applied was toward the right, the force of the friction was toward the left. Now, let's make it even more interesting. Assume that this straight horizontal line is a frictionless floor, and there is no air resistance. The cart appears from the left, and is moving towards the right at a uniform velocity of 2 meters per second. The only two forces acting on the cart are the gravitational and the normal forces, which net each other out. So, will the cart ever stop moving? No, it won't. It will continue to move along the same path at the same speed, unless there is another external force which acts on it. Here, as the forces are balanced, the cart will continue to move at 2 meters per second. An object will continue to move at uniform velocity even if the net force on it is zero. So there are two things we've learned here. First, if the object is stationary, and the net force acting on it is zero, then it will continue to remain at rest. Second, if the object is moving at uniform velocity, and the net force acting on it is zero, then it will continue to move at that same uniform velocity. So nobody's really seen, or touched force. It can only be understood by knowing what happens to an object when force is applied to it. So, basically force is a push or a pull upon an object, resulting from its interaction with another object. Well, that is all for this video. Thank you.